everybody, and welcome to the Dungeons and Dragons one-shot we'll be doing tonight. Normally, we are playing Dungeons and Dinosaurs on Wednesdays, but DM Calith, it has life right now, kicking the ass of all of us. So we're gonna be filling in for her tonight, and continuing with that one-shot that we started that one time, like 2 weeks ago. Don't know if y'all remember it. It's called Frozen Solid. Or Frozen Sick? Frozen Sick. Y'all may be frozen solid by the end of it, but it's called Frozen Sick. So when we last left off, our intrepid party had attended the funeral of a well-beloved person who had died under mysterious circumstances. They're not sure if it's murder, they're not sure if it's a disease, but you've had volunteered to go check out the cabin of one Tolgi, who was quite certain that she may be also affected by whatever killed our friend. You went, you killed a dog.
I'm sorry. I forgot what I was supposed to do, and I immediately thought enemies must kill it.
Yup. You murdered a puppy in cold blood. Good night, Iroh.
Look, don't lecture me about it, okay?
That's literally my
sure
job.
will. I knew that dog since he was a puppy.
Poor Iroh. But that's okay, because the other one survived, and then you fed it ghost pepper chicken and almost killed it. Everything is fine. He's just traumatized for life. But anyway, you gathered that this particular individual had actually sort of possibly robbed the person who had previously died in one capacity or another, and may have come into contact with an item that caused both their death and Tolgi's current sickness. So you decided to, after getting information... Yes, dear, Jason killed a dog in the game. Go finish doing what you're supposed to do. I don't know. It was terrible. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and you were going to head to the cave where Tolgi's sister is to see if you could find out if either she was sick because you hadn't heard from her in a couple of days, or if she might know which of the items caused the sickness so we could figure out how to stop it. When you were walking by this shop, when you heard some racket from within, and you went around to investigate. 2 of you went around the back, 2 of you kind of plastered your faces up against the front, and you saw that there were some people inside basically ransacking the place, searching for something. And one of you sent part of themselves into the shop to act as a distraction. And the rest of the bandits, while one is looking frantically in the direction that you called out that there might be something in, the rest of them are turning their attention to your party. So, roll for initiative.
Okay. I have the highest initiative.
Yeah. Pavu and Alomiak are not ready.
Time to kick butt and
Especially
chew
for-
bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Are you sure it's
Especially
good
one who's
for...
crawling through the window.
Oh dear. Are you sure it's good for you to be having bubble gum? You're a turtle.
Without a bubblegum, he said that.
It's true.
It's just a joke, bro.
Okay, man. Alright, Finton, what'd you roll for Initiative. Uh-oh. We've lost Yvonne. Vaughn! You there, Vaughn?
Sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
Away from the phone at the moment.
Okay. Well, we'll just use his initiative from last time and change it if necessary. Sound good to everybody?
Sounds like a plan.
Excellent. Oh my god, look at all of those bandits. Um, y'all are unprepared.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, a 9. Now, my old initiative's probably better.
It was. Well, sorry, Fenton.
Too late. Hey, that's how the dice roll.
To be fair, you didn't change positions in turn order at all, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yup. Alright, first up is War. War, you see the door is ajar, and you can see these figures in the window, 2 of which appear to be moving in your direction, 2 towards the back of the cabin. What do you do? Hey, War Turtle, what do you do?
Okay, I'm going to bust in and murder the enemy people.
Alright, so you're going after the first one right here, I assume?
Just whichever one's closest to me.
Directly in front of you. That dude right there. Go ahead and roll.
Okay, I will murder him.
Okay, you do that.
I'm messing up right now. The great axe, so I can like roll for attack.
Okay, so yeah, you just click on the great axe part. You click on it under attacks and spellcasting though, not under items.
Oh, yeah, I'm stupid.
You are not stupid.
Yeah, okay.
I think you hit him.
Yeah,
You
no, you definitely did. Go ahead and roll damage on that. If you
Okay.
fucking behead this man just like you did the dog, I will be... No, you click on the part that says great axe underneath your first roll. Yeah, in the chat window where you've already rolled at, you hit the part that says great axe right underneath your roll. Cool. So that's 8 damage to the dude. And you don't kill him, but you do open up a deep gash along his cloaked body. And he looks up in absolute horror and clutches his chest, which is now bleeding heavily. Does not look so well.
Imagine seeing a giant, adorable turtle do that.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely scary.
Oh, don't worry. I will just casually just basically open you up like I'm a surgeon.
I see. Anything else for your turn, War?
Can I do any other type of attack?
You cannot. However, you can rage as a bonus action, if you want to do that.
You know what? I think this might be a major big battle in the plot of this whole thing, so I'm going to do that.
Okie dokie. I know you haven't played a barbarian for a while, so if you want to, we can say you raged ahead of time, and it does mean that you get an extra 2 on that attack, so he looks even worse off if you want to.
You know what? I think I'll do that.
Okie dokie. So you did 10 damage to him. Alrighty. Just don't forget to rage ahead of time next time, okay?
Alright.
Alrighty. Next up is the bandit's friend who is right behind him. He didn't see that happen though, because they were focused on the weird shapes at the back window, and so they're headed in that direction. And Havu, you see this bandit kind of creep up on you, kind of looking around. If I remember correctly, I think you guys rolled pretty good on stealth last time. Yeah, stealth, and then... Okay, you didn't, but Alomiak did. So they're going to just roll perception to see if they can find you, because they don't actually physically see you yet. That's a 4. So this bandit starts kind of looking around the room, crouching low, peering under beds, completely missing you at the window.
Yeah, honestly, could just be a coat hanging on the wall. You don't know.
Yeah, Alomiak, you rolled a 17 or something, or 20? What would you roll last time? Let's see. You rolled a 20 in stealth last time. Yeah, there's no way they found you with a 4. Havu rolled a 13, so they might have found her, but, no.
It's sneaky like Snake. What are you talking about?
It's sneaky like Snake.
Sneaky like Snake.
Now it is the turn of the bandit who War just attacked, and they are going to grab their scimitar off of their body and flail at you wildly while clutching their bleeding chest because they are absolutely terrified of this bloodthirsty turtle. That is a 14, which does not hit you, War. It glances off your sturdy shell, and they kind of drop their scimitar in a panic and fall to their knees with their hands clasped above their head and immediately start babbling in Elvish. Anybody here understand Elvish?
I don't think I do.
Debatable.
Yes, I do.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I do.
Okie dokie. Well, Havu, what you hear is, "Please, please, I do not wish to die. They did not pay me enough for this."
Havu yells.
Well, you should be less worried about getting paid.
You don't understand Elvish, War.
Sorry, I forgot.
And Havu kind of yells in, "How much are they paying you for doing this?"
And as you do that, the elf that had been looking around the room for you whips her head around and sees you inside the window.
And Havu just kind of waves over to her. "Hello.
Well,
I'm still asking question."
she can't use her held action because you're too far away from her, but she's like, "Ha
Haha, yes. It's very funny. How much you get paid?
Better question is, my dear, how much we get paid for getting rid of you?" And now it's the next bandit's turn. They, seeing their friend being attacked by this giant turtle and almost dead, leap at you swinging their scimitar with a "Yah!" And that's a 22 to hit. So that's 5 slashing damage. It's going to be halved, though, because you are raging. So that is going to be 2 slashing damage. Alrighty, and that's their turn. Then it is this
How'd you
bandit.
know that? Oh, shit.
Okay. Then it's this bandit's
Sorry.
turn, and they are going to run back to where Havu was yelling from and stab through the window at you.
Having nice conversation.
That's a -1.
You miss.
Well, good, dear. I'm glad you found your hat. Okay, well, please continue to clean up your mess in the living room. Thank you, darling. Okie dokie. So yeah, no, that's a sorry, not -1, a natural 1. So let me get the crit fail chart out.
Okay, but while you're doing that, so I nicknamed this one Sickle, this one Sparkle,
Okay.
this one Sassy,
Sassy.
this one Scarlet,
Scarlet. Appropriate.
and I'm not sure what to name this one.
Stabby. Well, let's find out what they fumbled first. And maybe that'll
Yeah, okay.
dictate it.
Might be Slippy.
Might be dragon. So 28. Let's see here. 28, 28. That's the pointed end. Oh, man. Hit self. Roll attack again. If exceeds personal AC, deal critical damage. I see. So, okay. So that's going to be 10 damage as he tries to stab you and instead gashes his arm along the broken window. Yeah, just rips it up real bad. And
Definitely stabby. All right.
That's gonna be 10 damage, and he's down to 1 hit point. And he he falls back, and he's crushing his arm. He's like, ah! Man, these are some pretty inept bandits. And this one right here is going to go
I
ahead.
think stabby works. He got stabbed.
They are just looking frantically around for whatever it is that they are in here looking for that some random voice told them was in here. And they roll an 18, and they come across a rather cool looking scarf. Did that move?
No.
They quirk an eyebrow and they reach out to try to pick up the scarf.
I mean, it's a scarf. It doesn't do anything.
Kind of look at it quizzically, shrug, wrap it around their neck, and keep looking.
They feel the gentlest of smooches.
Little do they know, they might freaking die.
They look around wildly in terror. They grab the scarf off their neck and throw it away.
They no longer feel the smooches.
They're rubbing their neck and backing into a corner.
What,
Finton,
did it, like, bite them or something?
no.
Is
Smooches, kissies.
Smooches.
Finton, Leaf Kettle, it's your turn.
BRB will be back. Unless
Okay.
he's back.
I don't know. That's what I was asking. Alrighty. Well, I'll do his round then. So let's see. Wait, I can't. I don't know any of his attacks because he's not in the thingy.
We can come back to him whenever he's ready.
Yep. We'll just come back to him when he comes back. We'll drop him in. Lomiak, you're up.
Oh boy, goody. So Alomiak was gonna try and reach in and smash, but change of plans. This dude is the one with that 1 HP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry.
I'm not familiar with that language, so I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's mimic tongue.
No, the noise I made first saying smash in the weird way made my gums hurt.
Oh.
So basically what Olomiak's gonna do is he's gonna reach in and grab this dude and try to pull him out the window and over here and like grapple him for the quote-unquote kidnappings because he has questions.
Oh, excellent. Okie dokie. Go ahead and roll a contested strength check.
Yes.
See, he doesn't really have much strength, so... Oh, yeah, that's a 2. Just beat a 2. Yeah!
Lomiak got 2 twice.
2 twos, it's doubled 4, yes? So, Lomiak, you drag this bleeding, screaming elf out the back window.
Stabby.
And then what you would see is he just drags this person out. The cloak opens up. You see an assortment of covered person, and then the cloak just wraps around this dude, but it seems to like shrink wrap around his body. And and then internally there is a piece of clothing, probably like a lapel or something, that just like maybe an ascot. I don't know what he wears. maybe under the scarf there's a smaller, tinier scarf. Just
A pair of underwear.
Ew.
something that he wears is getting wrapped around the wound to keep this dude alive from bleeding out. But also
Oh.
he's restrained in the cloak.
Okay, so all you see, Hafu, is Alomiak just drags this man out the window and then just like opens his cloak impossibly wide and wraps it all around and drags him in. So now it looks like there's a person and a half in a cloak, and all you can hear is.
Why does this seem familiar?
Yeah, and Alomiak can't say anything right now. So, or at least he doesn't say anything right now. He just this is sort of a non-comforting situation. He would usually whisper words. He's gently patting him on the head, but not sure if that helps.
Also,
like,
this is all in Elvish, so unless Alomiak knows Elvish, Havu's the only person who understands this.
He does not. He understands primordial, but not Elvish.
Havu's just like, huh. That is very nifty. I need to remember you can do that. You are full of so many surprises. You are definitely my friend.
Alomiak gives her 2 thumbs up. And then you wonder how he's holding on to the dude without his arms, but don't worry about it.
That's someone else's problem, not Havu's. Speaking
Not
of,
causing me any problem.
Havu, it's your turn.
And Havu's like, I still don't know how much you're getting paid for this. And so she like kind of looks back at Alomiax, is like, he's got it covered, and comes in and looks over at the one right next to her, and is just like, you are quite rude, and then just kind of opens her mouth and just poison sprays at her.
Okay. Oh, 1 poison damage if it hits. Is it halved if I make the thingy? Extend your hand, creature succeeds or takes. Oh, so it's succeed or fail. Okay. Most cantrips are that. I should have known. Alright, so let's see here. That's going to be con save. That's an 8. And she's like, ah! My eyes! Ah!
He's like, I'm still wondering how much you're getting paid for this. And,
Not enough, apparently.
oh, that's a shame. You should definitely ask for more money then.
If I kill you, I will definitely get a raise.
And Havu just kind of looks at her and kind of smiles evilly.
Hello.
And is like,
Okay, good.
Hello.
yes, hello.
Okay, no, I was trying to say I'm back, and I was like, oh, can they hear me? I don't know. Sorry for interrupting.
You're good.
And it's just like, well, I would try to help you, but, you know, you're being mean, so I guess we will not help you.
Alrighty. That it for your turn, Havu?
Yep, and now it's,
Finton,
turn.
we skipped over you because you were doing stuff, so go ahead and drop
Yep.
in before we get to war.
Yeah.
So
I
here's...
did miss a little bit of the introduction, and I'm not fully aware of the situation, except
Okay.
for combat.
So we've got one elf right here, Sparkle, as Havu has named him, who is currently on his knees, giant gash in his chest, clasping his hands above his head, has dropped his weapon and is begging in Elvish to be spared. Only Havu can understand him, apparently.
Who's not
There-
talking to her?
There is another elf over here, Sassy, who has currently been, who picked up a scarf, wrapped it around her neck, and then freaked out and threw the scarf, and is now backed up into a corner, looking around dramatically and absolutely terrified out of her mind. There is a third elf right here who does not look like they haven't taken any damage so far, wielding a sickle, well, a scimitar, and their name is Sickle, and they attacked War, and their attack just boinged right off of him. So he only took like 2 damage from it.
Was that supposed to hurt me or something?
He was trying, and he failed terribly. And then
You suck.
And then a 4th elf got dragged out the back window screaming. And
After they
Havu,
stabbed themselves.
and Havu, although you didn't see it, spit into the eyes of this elf right here, but that would have been blocked by the door because this is like a back room, like almost a bedroom, a live-in bedroom for the shopkeep that lives and works here. So you saw Havu spit, but you didn't know what at.
Okay. And I'm guessing I'm not hidden or anything like that.
You are not currently hidden. No, you both decided to march up to the windows last round. Neither of you rolled stealth last session.
Oh.
Just shoved your face on the glass.
Yeah, everybody knew y'all were there. There's also an open door which War ran through in order to attack the dude who is now currently begging for his life.
In
You know
Elvish.
what? Since you have the nerve,
Inside and we're outside.
Oh, robot.
There's an elf inside and I'm outside.
You are currently outside. You have not yet stepped into the building, but you can if you want to. The building's a lot bigger than this map projects.
Okay. Yeah, this map is not helpful for combat at all.
Yeah. Well, it's a one shot, and I didn't really prepare too much for it, because it's just a level 1 through 3 guided guy.
Mm-hmm.
They also didn't have any pre-made maps for this village, so I kind of just grabbed the first one I saw of Dungeon Fog. Don't speak for the brand or the company, but I would highly recommend Dungeon Fog for free map making assets.
Okay.
Delightful.
So, like, would I be able to get in without, like, being barraged with sickles and whatever else they have?
Yeah, you can get inside the building without taking any attacks of opportunity. There's about
Okay.
10 feet between you and the first elf when you step in there.
Oh. The first elf being the one with the sickle?
No, the first elf being the one on his knees in front of War.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tear you limb from limb.
Yeah. So I guess I will try to get myself in a position to attack the guy with sickle since he just attacked my friend, and I'll make an attack on him.
Okay.
Guess that would put me there.
Yeah, you could go there.
Okay.
Because kneeling guy would not make an attack of opportunity against you because kneeling guy does not want to die, and he's very close to death. He's he's trying to surrender. Who knows if that'll work out for him?
Nah. You think it's funny to try to attack me and then show mercy? Nah.
Okay, good
I'm
job,
going
baby.
to tear you apart.
I can't look right now because mommy's doing the one shot, but I'll come and look before you go to bed. Okay?
And so Finton will take out his rapier and like just whack the guy with a sickle and be like, "That is my friend. That is my friend." Well, I already lost a voice. God damn it.
I did too. Just...
That is my friend. How dare you hit anyone I know?
How
Shame on you.
anyone I know? Ho ho!
Basically.
Face
Forget
around
now,
with
for the
yourself.
Oh, why?
What'd you roll?
Rolling that one.
Well, good thing I didn't close the crit fail chart. Now go ahead and roll me a D100.
You're screwed. You might just destroy the world.
63.
Oh no.
Did I summon a dragon?
Oh no. Oh. Okay. Roll a dexterity check.
At least just check.
Yep, just a dexterity check.
That is going to be a 16.
Oh, good, you passed. So you almost fumble your weapon right out of your hand because you kind of tripped over one of the objects that these bandits had thrown on the ground, and you got a little bit twisted around, but you managed to retain your grasp, and you don't accidentally drop your weapon in a random direction.
Oh, okay.
I agree. Yes, it will be the exact same dragon if we ever do that roll again. He'll be like, "Why the fuck does this keep happening?"
Havu would like poison dragon.
It was a black dragon last time, I thought.
Whatever it was poison, I believe.
It was poison. I think both black dragons and green dragons do poison, though, don't they?
No, I thought black did acid.
Do they? Oh well.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. We'll have to go to the tape.
This is giving me a flashback at that time when I did an attack so powerful after rolling a D100 that it created this giant portal that just healed the enemy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. Oh god. Size. Okay, anywho.
The frick is being talked about.
Anything else for your turn, Finton?
No, that'll be it.
Okie dokie. And we're back to you now, War. Alright, you've got one elf on his knees, who did not manage to damage you at all, who is currently
I didn't for the paperwork.
who is
Listen,
currently
man, I don't care what kind of mercy you're trying to beg me. If you tried attacking me, and even though you're pretty much about to be in pieces right now, I'm not gonna accept that. I might have to.
Unless he hasn't left yet, he's still here.
Okay.
And I
So
don't do that in character to the guy.
okay. So you gonna attack Mr. on his knees, dude?
Yeah.
Alright, roll that attack. You do have advantage because he is currently on his knees prone, offering no resistance.
You know what? Since he's at low health, I'm just gonna use a hand axe.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Fun.
Don't want to just smack him.
Oh my god! Roll the damage.
It's even more, I think. Oh
So
wait, no, that's the same amount.
So, he is +2 because of, rage, so that's 11 damage, which is exactly his max amount of health. So you deal, like, his entire health bar to him, even though he only had 1 health left. So you take your hand axe, and as he is in the middle of, basically begging for his life, you just gently swipe it, and it cuts through his neck like butter, and his head goes sailing off, and it lands in Sassy's lap, and she screams and screams and screams.
How you decapitated the dog too, didn't you?
Yep.
Shut up.
Okay. Yep. We're good there. Anything else for your turn, War?
I mean, I did only just use a hand axe, so does that mean I could maybe use another?
No, that is your full attack there.
Alright, are there any bonus actions I can do?
No, your bonus action was to rage. The rage is sustained throughout your turn as long as you either deal damage or take damage, and you've done both, so you get to sustain your rage.
Alright, well then I guess I'm just gonna assert my dominance and put my foot on top of the man I just decapitated.
I see. Okay, roll an intimidation check.
Okay. Let's see here.
You have sufficiently terrified a majority of the bandits, except for the one in the back room that Havu is fighting because she couldn't see it. And the one inside of a Lomiak, obviously.
Who's already afraid?
Who's already afraid. For good reason. Alright, speaking of, it is that bandit's turn, and she is going to stab out at you, Havu.
No. I didn't write down the color of the dragon, which is a shame.
That's okay, we can look back at the footage. We'll see.
I have the name and it's an adult dragon, but I don't have the color.
Alright, and that is an 18 to hit.
Aw, it hits.
That'll be 2 damage.
Oh! I can just see her. She pokes him for one, she pokes him for two. Keep going back and forth, just keep poking each other.
Just getting progressively more violent. And next up is dead guy who doesn't get any saves because he's dead. Well, sickle guy did just see his friend get decapitated and his eyes go wide, and his mouth kind of drops, and he is going.
I mean, he did just see a giant turtle tortoise man just decapitate his friend, so I don't blame him.
Yeah, so he's going to disengage and jump out the window.
Wow, he just gives up because he's a scaredy cat.
Yup.
Pathetic.
That's about as far as he can get.
Hold up,
without
I'm just gonna yell pathetic to him. You pathetic wimp!
Good thing he can only speak Elvish.
I'm gonna try to do my best impression then.
With an Elvish accent.
Alright, now it's the bandit inside of Alomiak's turn. Alomiak, go ahead and roll another contested strength check because this guy is trying to break free. He rolled a 3, though. Alomiak?
It would help if I wasn't muted, huh?
Yeah, it might help.
So, yeah, Alomiak's got this dude grappled, but also Alomiak can't do anything while he has this dude grappled, and he can't talk to this dude. So I guess my entire turn will be.
Oh, it's not your turn. It's not your turn. It's the bandit's turn, who you are currently grappling, and he just tried to break free. So I just need you to roll a contested strength check. He rolled a 3, so.
Oh, okay, well.
No, he's staying.
Continued hugs.
Forced hugs. Alright, this one, seeing that her friend has abandoned her, is also going to disengage and run out. 5, 10, 15.
I'm just gonna do that exact same impression that I did earlier.
Excellent.
I bet I sound racist to them.
She can speak English. Not English, common. She can speak common, and she is like, "Whatever, you overgrown turtle soup! A scarf kissed me!"
Call me turtle soup all you want. Your friend just turned into human soup.
That's
Or, well,
disturbing!
elf soup.
Especially since you're a chef, even though I don't know that canonically.
Oh, frick, are you a hacker? You're a friggin' hacker! I'm gonna kill you.
Oh god. Good thing I'm running away! Alright, Finton, you're up.
Screw you, coward.
Finton.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, yay, I'm in a shitty area and work is not being very cooperative with me.
Oh, it's cool. If I had your character sheet, I'd roll for you. Basically.
I know, we had 2 weeks and never transferred it.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, so the 2 living elves disengaged and ran away when they saw War behead their friend. Havu is still scuffling with something in the back room that you can't see. And Alomiak has his cloak wrapped around another elf. Also, you can't see that. But you did see 2 elves run out the front door after disengaging. Also, there's a headless one that War has his foot on.
Okay. He'll step up like, wow, that was quite, wow, that was quite effective. There it is. Wow, that was quite effective. We might want to, slow down on, just killing and asking questions afterwards. Because I thought we were supposed to do this a little bit cleaner than we have. But it was effective nonetheless. But now they know who we are, and they're going to answer to whoever else was paying them. And then I guess not knowing the other ones there, if I'm not aware of them,
You can hear
I'm
a
gonna
scuffle
start
in the back
searching.
room.
Oh,
You don't know
I'm
you don't know what she's scuffling with, but you can see Havu, and she had spit at somebody before.
gonna go look for whatever we're looking for, anyways.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll an investigation check.
All right. Investigation. Hey, nat 20 for 24.
Okie dokie.
And the animation was cool for the nat 20.
Let's see. Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Alrighty. So you do a brief investigation of the room that you are currently in. And while you don't find anything past the regular goods that one would expect in the shop, you do notate just by the thoroughness of your investigation with that nat 20 that whatever these thieves were looking for definitely is not in this particular room. You can 100% ascertain that whatever thing that they thought they were going to find was not here. It's all just
And when we
regular
came up
standard
here, the
goods.
thieves were still searching, right?
That is correct. They were
Okay.
searching. They were searching frantically for something, but you don't know what.
Also, would I have any idea of like how harsh the law is and the punishment is for thieves in this city?
That'll be a history check
All
with
right.
advantage because you are familiar with the area.
Okay. That's pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna beat it. Yep, 21.
So with a 21, you know that non-violent thieves who just like steal things but don't hurt anybody usually carry a pretty standard penalty of manual labor for a number of days and or years consistent with the value of the items that they stole or the rage of the people who they stole from if those people had good power. But for violent crimes, ones that involved the harm and or death of the people around them, it's a life sentence and or a death sentence usually.
Okay. I will keep that information to just keep that in mind, and I guess start if I can still move, start checking out what the scuffle is in the back.
I'd say since you did a full investigation of the room, you don't have enough movement to do that right now.
Okay, I would start making my way that way then.
Okie dokie. Alomiak, you're up. You've got a dude inside of you.
What the?
Yeah, so Alemia's gonna keep holding on to the dude, and my entire turn is gonna be a stealth roll to see if the scarf can exit the building quietly without being seen.
Go for it. Stealth roll that. With advantage, because everyone is fucking distracted. They're not looking at a scarf.
Thank God for advantage.
Yep, it slips right behind Havu and out the window. You are too busy focused on the person in front of you as you exchange pinches back and forth.
Yeah,
Also,
so,
Havu probably wouldn't care and just be like, oh, he is full of surprises.
It's just snaky scarf. Good, good.
I like that scarf.
It's good.
Sneaky scarf slithers over to Alomiak, and then Alomiak just picks it up and tucks it under the hood, wraps it around his neck again, and then finally he says something. He just says, okay, no panic. no hurt. Just stay quiet. No fight. No, have questions. Let's go after. And then shush. No. It's okay. It's okay. Pat,
Alrighty. Havu, you're up.
Can Havu see, like, everybody ran away and or is dead?
You saw one person run away and one person die. The other one jumped out a window out of your sight range.
Okay. I kind of turn to Scarlet and go, your friends are no more help. You sure you want to keep fighting? And if Scarlet needs to peer around the corner real quickly to see all that.
Just roll persuasion for me. I very much doubt that they couldn't take out a stupid turtle and a chef.
I spit at her again. I'm not really good with this whole spitting thing. Is it set up to actually do the right damage?
I don't know.
Let's
It's like, yeah, it says roll
1d12.
1d12. You're just very bad at spitting, I guess. She makes her con save this time and ducks out of the way. She learned.
And just be like, I'm trying to help you.
Help blind me, baby?
You can have swords!
Alright, War, you're up. 2 elves ran away from you. You're currently standing on a decapitated one. What do you want to do? Oh, also you hear a scuffle inside the back room still.
Alright, so I'm guessing there's one more left.
You think something's left. You can't see what Havu is fighting in the back room, but you can see Havu through the open door, and she was talking to somebody in a language you couldn't understand.
The frick are they talking about? You know what, I'm gonna check it out.
Alright, you go and you peer through the doorway, and you see an elf.
Ooh, look! Another thing I can murder.
Go ahead.
Hello?
You don't see this one. This one's inside Lomiak. You see this one.
Oh, hello.
Alright.
Are you ready to pretty much get fricked up?
Well, they don't understand comments. They have no idea what you just said. But go ahead and roll your attack. I don't think that
The
actually
purple
hits.
friend is here.
Let me check.
And your friend's not!
And she actually dodges your great axe as it comes slamming down into the bed frame that's next to her. And as that happens, the body that had been inside of it tumbles out onto the floor, and you see what looks like a half-elven woman whose hands are wrapped around her shoulders and her legs are tucked close to her chest, and her head is tipped back and her mouth is wide open in a scream of silent pain, and she is entirely blue from toes to nose and further, as she, much like your friend, is completely 100% frozen into a solid block of ice.
Did I just accidentally make a discovery?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could use this as a clue. But now
Sure.
It's not the time to talk about clues. Now it's the time to talk about your demise.
Yep. Well, that is the end of your turn. And now it is her turn. She is going to also try to make another... She's going to try to do a stab at you, War, now that you walked into the room.
Just so you know, I killed one of your friends, decapitated his head, and your other friends ran away.
She can't speak common. But
Oh,
Habu did already
then I'll tell... Then can I tell somebody to translate it?
Yeah, you can tell Havu.
Alright, could you please translate this? I killed your friend right here, and then your two other friends decided to run away because they're cowards.
He wanted me to tell you things, but I already told you.
Okay, well anyway, that is a 22 to hit, War.
Here, you can even see your friend's dead body right here.
Again, I already told you this, but he's just reiterating what I said.
Okay. So, that's gonna be 1 slashing damage for you, War. It would have been 2, but you're raging.
Did you really just try slashing at me? You dumb little piece of crap. I
He's
will
not
screw
happy
you
now
up.
you stabbed
Make
him.
sure to translate this, please.
Yeah, he's still angry you stabbed him. He probably will try to stab you back.
Tell her that I will literally tear her to pieces.
Alright, you're gonna have to start paying me to do this.
Translators are expensive.
Take 50 gold.
Okay! You have 50 gold!
No.
I got... Okay, yeah, I don't. Here, take the seashell that I found back at my home. It's a really valuable seashell, if I do say so myself.
Alright, this is too much talking, especially since it wasn't even your turn. So one of the elves did manage to make it out the front gate and run away. Now it's the one that's trapped in Olomiak's turn. He's going to make another strength check to try and break out. Oh, that's a 16 this time. So he manages to struggle out and fall knees into the snow. And he's going to spend the rest of his turn trying to crawl away because that was his action. He gets to about
Guess
here.
what I'm doing next turn.
Crawl after.
Well, actually, I mean, he can't disengage, so you do get an attack of opportunity. If you want it to be another grapple, you can do that.
It's gonna be another grapple.
Alright, strength check again. This time he rolled a 2!
Come back, little pup. It's okay.
What's wrong, Patrick? No, baby, I'm doing the one shot. I'll come look at the living room in a bit.
Olomiak just grabs him and picks him up, and this time he doesn't wrap him up in the cloak. He just kind of like holds him bridal style, but very tightly, and the figures in. Maybe he's claustrophobic. It's fine. And he just says, "No, questions. I have questions."
And he's like, in Elvish, for the love of gods, you monstrosity, let me go.
Olomiak just smiles and nods at him because he doesn't understand.
He's weeping now. Alright, Sassy's turn. She's gonna keep running. She dash actions the fuck out of this bitch. Finton, you're up.
Alright, yes. What am I aware of? Sorry, work is a real pain in the butt right now.
The 2 elves that ran outside have run away completely out of the settlement. War stepped into the back where you had heard Havu scuffling, and there was more scuffling, and you heard him having Havu translate horrible, horrible things to an elf. Presumably.
Then Havu demanded payment.
Havu did demand payment. And somewhere outside you hear a man sobbing.
I will follow War into the room, and
Also, don't forget to tell him the other discovery that was in the room.
Oh yeah, there is also a giant, not giant, there's a frozen half-elf currently on the ground that fell out of a bed that War accidentally cut into when he was trying to attack the bandit.
lovely.
So there's another frozen body, just like your friend.
Why? I say we should keep this one alive, see what they know, because they got here before us. Are we on the same page here?
No.
They have information that we can really use.
They
Alright.
really aren't
Them
After
sharing
being
that,
much.
they're just
alive.
I
after
have tried
that, their
to communicate
disposal
with
will
her.
be
She's not
definitely
listening.
wanted.
That's okay. Is how does non-lethal damage work in this?
So, you can announce that you wish to make a non-lethal attack, and they will simply be unconscious if you manage to get them to 0 hit points. They will not die, they will just be unconscious.
Okay, I will do that with like not entirely like rapiers aren't necessarily sharp; they're just pointy, right?
Yep, you could like you could hit her somewhere with the rapier that would disable her ability to have functional body parts and still not die if you roll high enough.
How tall is this individual?
It's an elf, so pretty tall.
Okay, next out of the question. So, I will step up and with for non-lethal attack, I will try to use my rapier to hit him in the back of the knee
Okay, go ahead.
to bring him down.
Go ahead.
Alrighty, and that is not going to be a natural one. Let's please not. Oh, here we go. Rapier. Oh, okay, 23 to hit.
That does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
And 7 points of damage, non-lethal.
All right, they are not unconscious. They do look a lot worse off, and they are putting very little weight on that leg now because you did strike them in a particularly sensitive spot and weakened the leg very significantly. They do still have hit points though, so they are still conscious.
Okay, and then am I aware that they don't know how to speak common?
I mean, Havu said that.
Okay. Havu, can you be a dear and let them know that I am much more reasonable than our significantly armored friend and would be glad to hear any information they share with us. And if they continue to be uncooperative, death would be a sweet release that I would gladly let our armored friend deliver.
I really need to get paid for this. He said something like, give up, we will kill you if you don't, answer our questions, something like that, or, death, sweet release, something.
Persuasion?
On who, me or her?
No, on her.
Okay.
No. She kind of snarls, baring her teeth.
And I look at him and say, see, she's not willing to listen.
Anything else for your turn, Finton?
I'm gonna guess not.
I'm gonna guess not. Alright, Alomiak, you're up.
If it helps, Alomiak will probably call in through the window. I already have one for questions, just so you know.
See? Lomiak, dear friend, already has one for questions. We can get rid of this one. We only need one.
Anything else for your turn, Alomiak?
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
I don't. Sorry.
Psychologically break, stabby.
I think that's already been done.
I really would like to help, but I can't do anything while I'm grappling this dude. I do have movement. I guess I'll just, I don't know. Go around the side of the house so he has less escape. Yeah.
You could also make a non-lethal attack against him to try and knock him out if you wanted. Like bonk him on the head or something.
He only has 1 HP, so I'm not sure if I want to do
If you say the attack is non-lethal, even if he only has 1 HP, instead of starting to go into death saving throws, he'll just be unconscious.
Okay, yeah, that I'll do that then. He looks pretty scared, so yeah, no, he'll be less scared if he's unconscious.
Mhm.
Can't be scared. Can't be scared if you're unconscious. I know this very well.
The little unconscious, not the big unconscious.
The tiny unconscious, the temporary unconscious.
The less unconscious. Okay. So an armed attacker.
Yeah, an unarmed attack, or if you have one that deals like bludgeoning damage or something.
Squeeze them.
Slashing, piercing. It's unarmed. It is.
And what's your strength modifier?
Two.
2.
2.
I tried to hug him into unconsciousness.
And
Hug.
all right, so yeah, you try to hug him into unconsciousness. It makes him surprisingly toasty and warm, but doesn't harm him. And he just looks at you in confusion and dismay, and guilty pleasure? I don't know. He enjoys the hug, but like, why?
Don't ask questions. Just enjoy.
He's so confused and terrified.
This happens often when I'm role-playing, I find.
Yup.
So I'm gonna have my turn. No explanation. Ha 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 ha.
I love Alomiak. Havu, you're up.
It's like, okay, you don't want to work with us. We already have one of your friends. Spit.
Oh look, 2 damage this time. Just spitting. Just spit. Oh, that's a 7. So she takes the 2 damage. Ah! And now she's got 1 hit point left.
Again, last chance. And not even trying to persuade. Just kind of like, I'm trying so hard.
And she's like, fuck off! And she's rubbing her eyes furiously, trying to clear the poison from them. Which brings us to War's turn.
Listen, if you don't freaking talk right now, I will behead you.
No, she's not going to answer us. We have another one outside. You can get rid of this one.
Okay then. Disposal
Oh, no.
process initiate.
Oh no.
Oh my god!
Well, at least you won't see it coming.
Go ahead! Oh god. So, this one is not beheaded so much as carved in half like a Christmas turkey. Right down the middle.
Oh, gosh.
You know, I don't know why I find this funny right now.
The 2 parts fall to the floor, twitching wildly.
Disposal process successful. Enemy defeated.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty, so she's dead. No more turn for her. It's this guy's turn again. He is going to go ahead and make another attempt to get the fuck out of the hog. That's a 14. Roll contested strength, Alomiak.
Oh boy, it would be a shame if I had to catch him again.
No. You stay.
Give more hugs.
No. You look cold. Stay.
I'm cozy. Is no, it's cold. I'm cozy. Stay.
Finton, you're up. Finton?
Hi, hello.
Fenton?
Hi,
Hey.
can you hear us?
Hello.
God damn it. You can skip me because I also still have work shit happening.
Okie dokie. You just are staring in horror at the bisected elf in front of you.
Oh yeah, I did this. I bet you want this to happen to you, don't you?
What?
Question mark?
Okay, Lomiak, it's your turn again.
Oh boy. Yeah, I guess I'll try to hug him into submission again.
I believe in you.
Non-lethal.
8 again.
Hug.
Nope.
Hug.
Just a warm hug.
I start swinging him back and forth gently.
Oh god.
Shh. Shh.
Are you humming a lullaby? A discordant lullaby?
Yes, but it sounds like there's a few things trying to hum the lullaby as well.
Oh god. Oh
You
boy.
just hear a bunch of from the cloak.
Havu, you're up.
That hurt.
Havu looks down, sees the body there, kind of peers out the window at Alomiak, and is, "Oh, good. Keep that one alive. Everyone else dead. We just look around for anything stolen." And then she starts kind of looting the room.
Okay. Me hold. Me no speak elf, but me hold.
Okie dokie. So in the personal quarters of this shop owner, you owie. So in the personal quarters of this shop owner, you don't find much besides her own clothing and like a cup of tea that appears to have frozen solid that was sitting on the bed next to her. And there is a couple of accounting books that are tucked onto the shelves above her bed where she kept records of her sales and whatnot. And you do find a small lockbox underneath the bed that has a number of coins in it. About 30 gold pieces and 20 silver pieces.
Then she puts that in her pocket. She goes, "Oh, it's such a shame that the those bandits took all of their money." And she puts the lockbox back underneath. Also, nothing in dead person.
The bandit.
Yeah.
She is carrying a scimitar, a short bow, but no money. She was wearing leather armor. I don't think it's serviceable anymore.
True. Are either of those simple weapons?
The scimitar, I think, is a martial weapon, but let me check. It's a martial weapon.
Okay.
Short bow, I think, is a simple weapon, though.
Oh, look, I get the short bow.
And she does have a quiver of arrows to go along with it. Yeah, it's a simple weapon. You have a short bow and a quiver of arrows.
Cool. I now have short bow and quiver of arrows. So it's productive. And then any additional speed, or any additional movement, she's gonna try to go out the window.
Okie dokie. Alright, you go out the window. Next up, we've got War. War, everything's dead except for your friends, and the one person that they've captured.
Oh boy, more murder I can commit.
And they did say that they wanted to keep this one alive, if you remember correctly.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
They did say they wanted to keep this one alive. Alright, look, if
there we
you
go.
do not speak and give us information, I'm gonna have to tear you apart with my axe, alright? And I bet you do not want that to happen to you, so like I'd recommend speaking right now or you will freaking die.
Well, I assume Havu is translating for that.
Nope.
Here, do you want me to give you another pretty shell?
First off, you didn't give me pretty shell to begin with, and how expensive is this pretty shell?
What, got nothing to say to that?
It's asking how expensive this pretty shell is. Aaron, know how expensive the pretty shell is?
It's not my pretty shell. How expensive is your pretty shell? War, can you hear us?
Oh yeah. I remember finding it and bringing it to this guy who determines the prices for pretty much everything. And he apparently told me that this thing costed like 9,000 gold.
Or then I definitely will take it. And then she translates for him because now she thinks the shell's worth 9,000 gold.
Okie dokie. Alright. So, yeah,
Although
the dude.
I mutter under my breath, the perfect scam.
With a with a natural one inside. I don't think you heard that, but anyway. So that's gonna take you out of combat as the bandit kind of goes limp in Lumiac's grasp and says, "I'll tell you anything. Just please don't hurt me more or make me go back in the cloak."
And Habu is just so proud of Lumiac.
I think if Finton is coming up, like just walking in on this and hears this, we'll just look at him. Like, what did you do that terrified him more than this thing did?
He's speaking in
Pointing
Elvish.
at War. Oh, never mind then.
Hey, he seems to be very helpful. He wants to talk now. What questions do we have? They don't know what questions they want to ask you, so just start talking.
Okay. One question I gotta ask.
He now has
you.
questions.
What?
No, go ahead. You have questions. You give
Okay.
me money. What
Alright.
questions?
Alright, anyway, I'd like to ask you one thing. Why the frick are you here? And who the frick do you work for?
He has one question that is in two parts. Why are you here, and who do you work for?
I work for Hulutan. I am here looking for antidote to very bad thing that has happened.
But thing is, how do we know you're not lying about that?
Do you translate that, Havu?
I should make a noise of fear and scared, and I believe she tell us the truth, but she did not give a very clear answer to your question.
Alright, now I'd like to ask, where does this man live, and how do I kill him?
I don't know if they will know how to murder. You seem very good at the murder, so I don't think they need to give you any tips.
Actually, you know what? No, forget that question. Just tell me where he is.
Turtle wants to know where is Lillian.
Hulil, they're in the cave to the north. They're in a cave to the north. Of the frog cave. There's lots of frogs in the frog cave. They live in the north in the frog cave. Please don't hurt me.
Well, I guess we know where we're going
anyway.
next, and I guess I know who I'm disposing of now.
What was that, Havu?
We were going to go north anyway, so that is helpful.
Cool, now we have another target in mind, and I have another disposition process to go through.
So, Havu, you recall that Hulil is the name of Tolgi's sister.
Oh, I didn't know that because I don't think we ever said the name. Togi's sister! Why didn't you say? We could have avoided this whole thing.
Welcome
Cool.
back.
Now, cool. Now can I kill them?
They're friends with Togi. Well, I don't care. I mean, you can kill them if you want, but it seems like they are friends with Togi. Oh, Lumiak hugged dude harder. No, friend.
Yeah, Lomiak's like, no, you can't kill them, and hugs the elf harder, and the elf is
Alright,
crying. They don't
Alright,
know
fine,
what you said.
fine. I won't kill them. But if they try to do one single thing to us, it is off with their head.
Okay, well, and turns back to, what is your name again, Mr. Stabby?
What?
Oh.
My name is Steven.
Oh,
Steven Universe.
Steven. Oh, Steven. Okay. Thank you for talking to us. We appreciate it. Lomiak, you can let him go. No stealing. Stealing is very bad.
We were just trying to find antidotes. They have. She said us to find the antidote to the thing that makes your veins go blue.
And then Havu goes, oh, does this mean that Togi's sister does have the cold sickness too?
And he nods miserably.
Well, that helps us not have to go all the way up there to figure that. I'm just going into Megda here. We don't have to go all the way.
Steven is now a Lomiak's emotional support bandit.
Well, why are we going up to the Croaker Cave again? We were going to see if Tolki had the thing. Do you know what is causing this?
No. She just sent us to look for potions or scrolls or anything that might be an antidote. Since this is where we got the thing from that maybe caused the thing. I don't know which of the many things it was. There was many things.
One thing I will say, I can't see the turn order anymore.
They're that's because you're not in combat anymore. They're in the cave.
Well, let us escort you back to the cave so you get there nice and safe since you are wounded.
Oh.
Lomiak, is that okay? Will you be able to carry him?
I'd like to leave now.
Oh, of course, we will take you. It is no trouble.
Oh.
Do we leave now? Do we take a rest?
That is up to you guys. Honey, Mommy's still doing the one shot. I will come look at the living room before you go to bed, okay? Okay.
Do we have homes here?
I don't know. Longer, the more you interrupt us, though. Those of you who live in this village have homes here, which I think would most definitely be Finton, and possibly even War. Alomiak's home is, I believe, actually the home of your dead friend.
Okay, anybody have any preferences? We take a nap, we leave right away. Evil red lady stabbed me, so nap might be nice.
Let Stabby get less dead.
Very good point. That will definitely help our friend here too. So it is settled. So it is settled because no one has any strong opinions.
Excellent.
So, you two, and she points to Turtle Man and Carrot Boy. Whose house is closer?
So
would we know?
Yeah. So Fenton, your house is right over here. It's this one. And right down the street from you is this one right here is Wars.
Either of you have guest room?
Well, I might have a guest room, but I don't know if you guys would fit. Me and my family, we're a bit small folk here, that which is quite obvious. And
Well, I can wrap up pretty small.
okay, I was just about to say, like, looking at you, you look like maybe twice the length of my bed.
Don't stretch all the way out when sleeping.
And then Olomiak, who has stayed with Ergon before, that's your friend who was having the funeral that died, in case anybody's forgotten.
Not forget. It's very sad, very sad.
That is this house right here. That guy.
I'm also not entirely sure how comfortable I am with a very bloodthirsty turtle being in the same house with me after the threat he made earlier. So, yeah.
He can stay outside if we would like. But I would like to take a nap. Who will volunteer their home? Because we are friends. Sounds like a plan. You two can go to your own homes if you'd like. I'm gonna stay with our friends here. And gonna walk with Olomiak towards that one guy's house. That's cool.
I was actually about to, like, I guess you can stay. We always he's kind of rattled a little bit. He's very rattled, like barely there for the conversation mentally. And it's
just
quite
like,
visible.
oh, shame, so many dead people. Oh no.
However, will we get over this? Quietly pockets short bow.
It is good for you that you are so accustomed to the dead bodies that were not so peacefully removed from this earth.
Well, being a cleric, you get used to these things. You help others, you help with the mourning. I'll see you in the morning. And then she starts walking towards Alomiak's dead friend house.
Okie dokie. So you start walking towards Olomiak's dead friend house, along with Olomiak, who I presume is carrying the defeated Stephen. And as you approach, you see a guard standing outside the door of Ergon Wenth's house. It's a female wood elf, and she kind of looks puzzled as she sees you carrying Stephen bridal style with Havu in tow approaching the house, and she's like, Olomiak, what on earth are you doing?
Waves at the guard. Hi. Friend hurt, go to sleep.
She looks quizzically at the elf that's currently in your arms. She looks absolutely terrified, eyes darting back and forth between the lot of you, and she hesitantly speaks to the elf in Elvish and says, "Are you all right?" And the guy says, "Yep, I'm fine. Everything's cool. Don't worry about it."
And Havu just kind of smiles and waves at her.
And she's like, uh-huh. Well, it's your house, Alomiak. Well, it sort of. So I'm not going to stop you from going inside of it. Yell if you need me. And she says this as much to the man in your arms as she does to you.
And Havo says, "Thank you," and we go inside.
Well, why am I waiting for a Lomiak just to give a very awkward wink or whatever a Lomiak wink would look like?
I am terrified to learn what that would look like.
One of those gems for eyes just vanishes in and then pops back out.
Yes. Alrighty. Thank.
Hurt like trying to leave. Hope doesn't. He hurt bad.
Oh, okay. So you step inside the cabin, and it's kind of a cramped, dark little space. There's an unmade bed near the fireplace, which is currently very cold because Alomiak doesn't need heat to live. And it's been a day or two since anybody was alive who needed heat to light this. There is a large, snarling white beast head mounted above the mantelpiece with curling gray horns that curve around its head. Has a slightly greenish tint to its fur. On the other side of the room, there's a small table. There's a bunch of dirty dishes on it, and a dwarf-sized chair and an Alomiac-sized chair next to two empty shelves. There are contents of those shelves scattered across the floor. There's kitchen utensils, dried food. There's a couple of adventuring gear, some books that have had pages like ripped out and thrown about. Alomiac, it's been a day or so since you've been back inside the house. Since you don't sleep very often, you don't have to visit all of the time. Um, you you do note that somebody besides you and besides Ergon has definitely been in this house since you were last in it.
And Havo goes, "You should do dishes. Bugs will come into a house. And don't want that."
All right. So yeah, you investigate, and you can tell that somebody has been through this house and rather ransacked it, looking for something, anything. And it looks like you found some of Ergon's adventuring equipment that had been strewn across the room. There's a silver maul, a suit of splint armor that's about dwarf size, and a nice fur-lined coat that you remember that he likes to wear. You find his grappling hook, which kind of was dashed underneath one of the cabinets, and a hood and lantern who has been knocked to one side. All the oil has spilled out on the floor and is basically is in need of oil before you can use it. You also find a crumpled receipt that appears to have been half torn and thrown on the floor in what appears to have been frustration.
Havo's gonna light the fire in the fireplace to warm up the area.
You go ahead and you light the fire. Steven kind of huddles on the bed, knees drawn up to his chest, kind of eyes darting everywhere.
Oh, come closer to fire. Get warm.
Okay. He kind of scooches closer to the fire, his eyes darting to the window every so often.
We will take you back home. Don't you worry. We will take you back to cave.
Mm-hmm. I'm not worried. Not at all. It will be fine. Everything will be fine.
And Havu just kind of pats him on the head. Exactly.
Alright, so Lomiak, you take the odd receipt to the table and you start piecing it back together. And you see that it's a receipt from Pelix Curiosities, which is the shop that you literally just came from that this guy and his friends were ransacking. And as you look it over, you see that it's a receipt for Ergon selling some items that he came back with on his journey about a month or so ago. There's a dagger, a scroll case, a jade statue, a quiver of 20 arrows, a silver ring set with a jasper stone, and 2 blue glass vials. Alright, so Lomiak, you bring over the pieces, chittering excitedly, and you point at it and say, cave stuff. Havu, translation?
So in the paper here, our friend has, looks like he sold, our dead friends, sold over into the shop that you were just in, sold a dagger, a scroll case, jade statue, a silver ring with jasper, a quiver, 2 glass vials, blue glass vials. Were any of those in the cave?
Not a dagger, but Tolgi brought the other things to Hulil, um, a week or so ago, I think, before this stuff started, is why she sent us to the shop to see if there was clue about which one was bad and if there was an antidote.
Then it's probably not the dagger. Because I believe Tolki kept the dagger, didn't she?
I didn't know there was a dagger, so I guess so.
Well, we'll think about it tomorrow. And Havu is going to find a nice place to curl up in a little snake ball.
Okie dokie, so Havu, you're taking a long rest. War is in his house taking a long rest. Finton is taking a long rest. Lomiak, while you do not need to sleep, you can meditate, and you can meditate for 4 hours to achieve a long rest. But that will mean that you would have to take your eyes off of Steven if you did so. Or some of them. Steven has a friend all night. Excellent. Alrighty, so you guys have a nice full rest, including Steven, who hasn't been able to find an opportunity all night to get away from you, and therefore just falls asleep in utter exhaustion after about 3 or 4 hours. Could be the blood loss, too.
Yeah, I guess the cleric could have, made sure he was okay. Oh well.
Yeah, no, he falls asleep face first into his cards. Aw, that's so cute. Alright, so everybody's got their health back and any spell slots they might have used. And this is just as the morning light is starting to kiss the horizon. And it's morning and you guys can wake up.
Habu is gonna
Cool.
go to the kitchen-y area to see if there's any food that she can eat, because we are friends and friends feed friends, and some of it may not be bad yet.
You find that most of it had been thrown on the floor when somebody had been ransacking the place. The few items that have not are a tin of biscuits and some dried meats that are in another jar.
Well, this must be breakfast then. You must make do with people who just throw food, these perfectly good food, on the floor. Maybe I can put it on plate and give it to Elf Bandit friend. He won't know.
Nolomiak has materialized a great axe.
So, Habu kind of sees if there's any food on the floor that she can kind of dust off that looks good, and brings a plate to Alomiak and the elf friend, and puts some of the dried meat and biscuits on there too, which she's going to snack on that part, but she's going to provide the whole plate. Be like, oh, I made this in the kitchen, it's breakfast, and brings it to everyone.
And Steven is very hungry after being held captive all night and being forced to play old maid. So he will nibble some of the biscuits after he sees Havu eat some.
I wonder when we are going to meet up with our friends. We said the morning, but we weren't very specific.
So, Finton and Boar, you guys gonna head over to where Lomiak and Havu are, or you're gonna wait for them to come get you? Finton and War?
Yeah.
So, War, are you gonna wait for Havu and Alomiak and crew to come get you, or are you gonna go to them first?
I'm going to go.
Okie dokie. So, War, you get up, you have a nice breakfast of Lucky Charms, which is really just a bunch of dried cereal with tiny little colorful marshmallows that you've made yourself sprinkled on, and you have that.
And it also comes with the side of the dead people I killed.
Okay, Mr. Cannibal. There are repercussions.
First of all, I'm
for
a
that.
turtle. Or a turtle.
Okay, fine.
That
You know what?
doesn't make me
Yeah, we
accurate.
can't have octopus.
Thing is, that octopus was my friend!
Well, these might be someone's friend. We have their friend here.
You know what? Fair point, I won't eat it.
You're
War
welcome,
abstains
Steven.
from his people bacon for the night.
Man, I really wanted some delicious people bacon.
Oh boy. So you head on over to Lomiak's cabin, and you meet up with them. And when you come in, Havu and Steven are munching on biscuits. And Alomiak, do you try any of Havu's graciously prepared breakfast? Goes in the cloak. Alright, Finton, are you gonna go meet up with them, or are you waiting for them to come pick you up from your house?
I'll probably meet over there, but he is definitely probably noticeably late. He is still processing everything that happened the previous day. We've never experienced anything quite like that. But yeah, he'll eventually get out of bed. Probably when he got home, he had like a cup of tea, very shakily. But yeah, we'll get ready and arrive a bit late.
Okie dokie. Alrighty, so you walk in and you see everybody munching on some biscuits and stuff. Just waiting for you. So, yes, the receipt told you that the dead guy sold items to the shop, and then you know that the shop was robbed. Tolgi admitted to robbing the shop. So, you conclude that Tolgi took the items that were sold to the shop originally. So, chain of contamination means Ergon got sick first. Pelik, the person who runs the shop, who came in contact with whatever the infected item is, got sick second because she
Was
took
that
the
body
item.
we found?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That would be the body you found in the shop. And Tolgi got sick third and has not yet died. But you are not entirely sure how long that they have. And now you know that Hulil, her sister, who she suspected might also be sick, is definitely sick. The only item that you know is probably not the infected item is the dagger, since Hulil never had the dagger.
Didn't we ask about the dagger at Tolgi's though?
You did, and Tolgi said that she got it from the shop.
Oh, okay.
So
But I
yes.
thought we asked on like if she did anything with it afterwards.
So Alomiak, you know that Ergon had gone on an expedition to the far north. The last expedition that he had done before he came back here. He was gone for a month or two before he arrived back here in the village with a bunch of things that he had acquired, including the ones that were sold to the shop. You are not sure the exact location of where he went when he was to the north, but you do know that he had been on an expedition there. And you do know that he frequently kind of, what's the word? Tomb Raider style scavenges through old ruins and stuff like that. So that's probably where he got whatever he had.
I believe Tomb Raiders prefer the term archaeologists.
Sure they do. Sure they do.
Hey, Riley, did you come to see me? Hello, buddy. Oh, head bonks.
Alright, Alomiak. You pretty much found everything of use last night when you were looking through it to see if you could figure out what was out of place. You found all the adventuring equipment that I mentioned above. You found the receipt. You do find some more dried meats and biscuits in sustainable packaging, like rations almost. Let's see, did we find anything else?
Money?
Not money, because that's
Ah.
already been stolen.
Shame.
Mhm.
Just like what happened at Pelix.
Mhm. Double check.
Also, Lomiak, are you
Nope.
taking the hooded lantern or grappling hook with you?
Alrighty. So there's a silvered maul, M-A-U-L, a silvered maul, a suit of splint armor sized for a dwarf, a nice fur-lined coat, sized for a dwarf as well, of course, a grappling hook, and a hooded lantern. And Lomiak is taking the grappling hook and the hooded lantern. So that
And
leaves...
Havu fit in the cloak?
yeah.
Havu will have the lovely fur coat.
It's probably not long enough for your tail or anything. It probably comes and hits
Most
you about
things are
mid-waist.
not long enough for the tail.
But you are slender enough that you are able to get into the actual coat, despite it being sized for a dwarf. Kind of looks like a half coat for you, like a fur capelet.
Fashionable.
Very. What were you saying, Finton?
I forgot what else there was.
A
It's
What kind of
silver
armor is
maul.
splint armor? It's medium, right?
I think so. Let's find out. Yeah, there's a silvered maul and splint armor. Let's see. Or is it split? I think it's split, actually. I think I might be saying this wrong. No, it's splint. Okay. Splint armor is heavy armor.
Oh. I don't even think I'm proficient in that. Nor would I want it.
I don't believe you are either. I don't remember what class you are, though, if I'm going to be honest with you. Artificer?
I'm rogue. That's why I asked about the sneak attack earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, you are definitely not proficient in heavy armor.
And, okay.
Actually, I don't think any of you are proficient in heavy armor, because Alomiak and War are both barbarians. And Havu, you are a warlock?
Cleric.
Cleric, that's right. Cleric. So there is also a silvered maul.
Which maybe War can use? And maybe a Lomiak?
It is a martial weapon, so War would be able to use that. It's heavy and two-handed.
And silver.
Yep,
Okay.
it is silvered.
New weapon.
And it deals 2d6 damage.
Now that's decent.
It's like a big old hammer.
You know, kind of reminds me of this guy. This short dwarf man. If you get the joke, you get it.
I don't think
His
any
name
of
Ergon, that was the dwarf man who died who owned this?
No.
Hold up, what was that again?
No, it was not. It's a character that Jason, very first character he played at a table back when we were doing Dungeons and Dragons at Barnes and Noble.
Mm.
His name was Bronze Hammer.
Mm-hmm. And he died to a corpse mound, as did the rest of us. My fault.
As parties do.
And then
My
that was
fault
the end of
completely.
that session, forever.
Forever. It was definitely 100% my fault. Either way. Okay, so you want them all?
I think a Lomiak is
Yes.
holding them all. It's like mine.
Okay, Lomiak has them all. Okay. Technically, he owns it.
I could have committed so many murders with
So
that.
many murders. Well, now Lomiak has a silvered maul, a grappling hook, and a hooded lantern, which, honestly, yes, technically, he owns this house now, as far as anyone knows, because Ergon didn't exactly have family and there's no will.
What is this house your NFT?
Yes. Also, Jason, you are way too muffled.
Oh.
Alrighty.
Am I not muffled anymore?
Much better.
Correct.
So, my party, what are we doing?
We are taking dear friend up to the cave to see who has been infected by some item.
If they have like bad intentions, then I'm just gonna chop their head off.
I see.
You
Alright.
know,
we-
normal
we-
murder committing as usual, except without criminal charges.
About that. That might not. You might not be avoid from that entirely. Remember, the city isn't too keen on vigilantes.
I'm back.
So, murder last resort, perhaps?
And Alomiak says, my guy had stuff first. Wanna look at blue bottles. Came from north. Maybe cave north enough?
I don't know if it would have come from the cave, but we can at least go to the cave because that's the last place it would have been. And we take our friend with us and smiles at Steven.
Steven shudders.
Or you cold, get by fire, or undercoat with me, and kind of like puts coat around him, be friends.
He has no idea what to think anymore.
If you don't like my coat, Alomiak has a cloak.
He hugs you!
Friend! No, you cannot eat my notebook.
But Alomiak wishes to eat your notebook.
No, the Riley wishes to eat the notebook. You are not Alomiak. I know, but you're so cute. I know. So
No,
sad.
So if we're going, if we're going to the cave, we should probably have our new friend here give us safe passage in, since they work for the person over there, and we didn't leave a great impression with the ones that ran away.
Yeah, definitely friends. And hugs Steven even more.
Stephen doesn't know what you're talking about since you're speaking in common.
And Havu says, "You will help us go to cave. Let's go."
Oh,
And like,
I don't know if that's such a good idea. It's okay. Sure. Don't hurt me.
of course not. We are friends.
Right. Ha 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 ha. He laughs nervously.
Oh,
Yeah,
I guess
Actually,
I could
I'm
change that.
curious.
Does that mean I can have my weapons back?
You don't have your weapons?
No, he dropped them when he was engulfed by a Lomiak.
Oh. I don't think we have your weapons either. Alomiak, do you have his weapons? Okay, we will pick him up on the way. They should be outside the shop.
Alrighty, so you guys exit the door. You see a different guard there than the one that you saw last night, and he's kind of looking grim-faced and white-lipped, and he kind of nods at you with a tight jaw.
Good morning!
Nothing good about it. More bodies in this town than needs be.
No!
Well, what's the story then?
So, am I, when we're not like right next to a guard or something and on our way to the cave, am
Mm-hmm.
I aware that this guy's name is Steven?
You did hear Havu refer to him as Steven.
Okay, Steven it is.
What are they, Steven?
On the way
Stone?
out of curiosity and thieves can't, I will ask kind of like, so where did you hear about this? So where do you hear about this job that you got paid for to rummage through that poor lady's shop? And how much were they paying you by chance?
All right. So you say you're gonna do that when you get out of the city where the guards are?
Yeah, so not right alongside a guard or someone that can easily what you may call it eavesdrop.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try to talk to him when we're not like yeah
Well, you
when
find that
we're a little bit farther away from people.
well, you find that to be a little bit more difficult than you would like because currently, there are several guards that are in the street here to the north surrounding Pelik's shop, and there are three cloth-covered mounds, uh, one of which is slowly kind of freezing over a little bit, that are laid out in the street in front of it, and a bunch of guards standing around, scratching their head, looking through the wreckage of the shop. And you see somebody come out with an elf's head and put it underneath one of the cloth covered mounds.
God.
Did it have to be a head that I murdered?
Havu kind of covers Steven's eyes as they walk by.
Don't worry about that. It's just a, let's say, minor slip up.
All right, and Alomiak, you say, hey, wait," and you jog up to the guards who are currently standing at the bodies, and one of them, an old, haggard-looking gnomish woman, kind of dusts her knees off from where she was kneeling to peer underneath the edge of one of the cloths, and comes over to you, Alomiak, and she says, "Ah, Alomiak, what can I do you for, boy?" Oh, yes. Well, don't you worry. We all wore gloves. Didn't touch anything with our bare hands. We're well aware. We made sure that no skin touched poor Pelk. But how did you know? She looks at you, puzzled and a little bit suspicious.
I mean, Alomiak lived with the guy who had it.
But they don't know that Alomiak's friend sold things to Pelk. Oh, I told you. Uh, we suspected as much, but she won't let anybody into the house. But how'd you know about Pelk? Oh, Tolgi must have caught it from Pellic if she was shopping. I guess that makes sense. She does do a lot of selling of her wares. Hmm. All right then. Well, you be careful. Somebody is going around beheading people around here.
Yeah. I don't know who that could be.
Deception roll.
Habu is
deception
kind of
roll, okay.
walking ahead while that is occurring
Yeah.
with friend.
Yeah. He just
Yep,
like drags
and
Steven.
Fenton is with Havu.
She kind of squints at you, War. She kind of, her eyes stray to your axe as she looks at you with a little bit of suspicion in her eyes, and she's like,
What? Why are you looking at me like I just murdered somebody?
would you mind maybe coming down to the station with me, War, answering a few questions?
Sure.
Excellent, excellent. Come on, that's the opposite way of the station, War.
Okay.
Right, we'll see you later. Bye.
What is this gonna be, like an interrogation?
Mhm.
You rolled a 10 deception and you didn't try to talk your way out of going down to the station, so I guess it is.
Okay. This is a deception. Did you do the murder? No.
Okie dokie, so.
Also, before passing War too much, and after he kind of mentioned this, she Havu guidances him as she walks away, and it's like, bye.
Alrighty, so Alomiak and War are headed for the station. Fortunately, War is guidanced, but that's only going to help for 1 minute. So maybe if you can, maybe if you can think up a persuasive excuse within that 1 minute before you get all the way to the station. Wait, Alomiak, wait.
Yak follows War.
Wait.
Alright, then I guess I'll roll a persuasion check.
Hold on a second. Lomiak's typing something. Hands Havu a belt and jogs back.
What the hell is this?
And Havu kind of looks and goes, good idea, and puts it around the coat to make sort of like a, a waist for her jacket. So it's not just, a box shape. It gives more curves. So it looks more fashionable.
I need to draw this.
What, is it a belt to whoop some naughty kids?
No, it's a fashionable type belt. It's awesome.
Well, I'm gonna roll the persuasion check now.
Okay, well, tell me what you say first. Tell me what you say first to persuade the lady that you don't need to go back to the station with her.
Listen, I just wanted to mention that. I just want to mention that I don't know who it is. There's always somebody who does that.
Okay, go ahead and roll persuasion.
Hold up, I'm not done yet. And plus, is there really any evidence at all?
Oh no.
I am freaking. Oh, a doke.
Aye, there's a good amount of evidence that somebody with an axe took them out quite terribly. And War, I hate to say it, but you have an axe.
What? Like, am I the only person here who has one?
Seriously, you're in a dwarven area. Only one person has an axe.
Like, come on, I'm not the sussy imposter.
I mean, normally I'd say, yeah, you're not, but you just acted real weird back there with the bodies. If you can give me a good explanation, I'd be happy to hear it. I haven't had any problems with you in the past, and I'd really like to. I'd really like to not believe that what I'm suspecting is true, especially when you're being so cooperative.
Okay, I'll admit it. I killed them. But it's for a good reason, okay? Just let me explain here. So basically, we thought they were up to something bad, and we thought that basically they were up to no good and trying to do something that's a bit shady and something that only a bad person would do. So I decided, well, since they might be bad guys, and we tried talking to the first few. Well, I didn't try talking to the first one. Well, since we tried talking to the first few, they just did not want to speak. So I just killed them. I don't freaking know. I have no way of properly explaining this without sounding like a horrible person. I mean, to be
How
fair,
could you?
I mean, to be fair, wasn't I kind of? To be fair, I mean, I did kill a dog, so I mean,
A dog!
think it was unintentionally. Unintentionally, that was manslaughter.
Dog slaughter, but go on.
But
So what you're
um,
saying to me is that those men looked suspicious and you killed them because they looked suspicious? No other reason?
yeah, I
Just
killed them because I thought they were the sussy imposters.
imposters? What imposters? What are you talking about, War?
You know what? You just don't understand. You wouldn't understand because we live in a timeline where that's just not the norm.
Look, I know you turtles are quite old and you've seen a lot in your lifetime, but that does not exclude these PTSD head shopping episodes.
Oh, don't worry. I've definitely been screwed in the head.
Uh,
Oh my lord.
Especially after these 100 years of living.
uh I'm sorry, Olomiak. I understand your concern with the situation, but if he's infected or not, we can always put him in an isolated cell. But you can't go around murdering people for no good reason.
I'm not even infected. It's literally by my own will.
All right, cool. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't go around murdering people.
Look, I thought they were sus among us's, so I killed them thinking that I did the right thing.
You killed them. You killed them for no reason, though. By your own admission, they were not doing anything to you.
You know what? You actually make a fair point.
I can't. I'm sorry, Ward, but I'm gonna have to put you under arrest.
Listen, if you're gonna try that, you better listen. You're gonna need to kill me first before that happens.
Ward, I do not advise that you resist arrest. And she kind of reaches for the manacles on her belt, and her tiny little gnome brow furrows. And says, "You will not like what happens if you resist arrest."
Listen, if you want to take me, you have to kill me.
All right then. All right, hold on a second while I bring up a guard sheet. Ah, wait. Okay, Olomiak, I'll let you speak, but after that, if you don't convince, we are rolling initiative at least as far as War and this guard are concerned. It's just this. It's just all jumbled together. He's like, just go on this hell and get arrested. Stop being dumb. Yee! Well, do you
Oh,
listen
my
to Olomiak, or is this going to be a guard battle?
I
So
imagine
it's
when
either
he started.
I don't resist arrest and I actually let myself get arrested, or I resist arrest and fight the guard.
Yep, that is the options that you
I'm
currently
need to,
have.
I guess I'm need to fight the guard then.
You know what's also an option? Running.
Okay, I'm gonna
No,
freaking book it. I
hiding,
may be a
like,
turtle and
Finn
slow as
is.
hell,
Fenton
but
went
I'm
to
gonna
go
book it.
hide. Fenton is about to have another anxiety attack.
Oh, poor Fenton.
War turtle speed.
Hold on. Okay, here she is.
You just see them running around the house trying to outrun each other,
Alrighty.
Scooby-Doo style.
Alright, so this is how this is gonna go down. Everybody's going to roll initiative just so we can keep the order of this in order. You will not be engaged in combat unless you actively resist a guard. So right now, the only person in combat is going to be War.
I didn't know how much. So how much of that did I hear? Because I know me and Havu said that we started walking away to
You
distance ourselves.
probably did not hear any of that, if we're going to be honest.
Oh, okay. Then I probably wouldn't have. Like I'm walking.
Yeah, Fenton, you, Havu, and Steven, unless you paused at the gate, are probably outside and about a couple of feet, like 25 or feet, so outside of the gate, if you want to be.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
I rolled an 8 for initiative.
Excellent. Okay. Great. One less than last time. Alrighty. 13. Lomiak got a 9. The guard got a 3. Steven got a 13. Alright. Arranging. Descending. Okie dokie. War, you're actually at the top of the round. What you gonna do?
I gotta. I'm just kidding.
You gonna run?
I mean, like, I'm a turtle. I'm very slow. I don't think I can.
You've
I
got
don't-
30. You've got 30 feet of movement.
Okay.
And you can dash for 60.
Uh-huh. You can dash for 60.
Frick you! I'm booking it.
Alright, now she does get an opportunity attack against you. She is going to attempt to grapple you as you try to run. She rolled a 5, though, so go ahead and roll strength to contest it.
Okay. Imagine how just embarrassing this could be.
I swear, please don't roll in that one.
So that was a 13. So you shrug her off and you keep running. So you can get 60 feet. Each of these squares is going to be 10 feet, so you can get 6 squares. I'm just going to take you guys off the board because you are... Take you guys over here off the board because you are already out.
Sonic the frickin' Hoog.
Okay, so you just go running by and you pass by a bunch of other guards who kind of look confusedly in your direction, but they didn't actually hear the conversation you were having with the lieutenant, so they have no idea what's going on yet. Havu, you're outside. You're about 25 feet down the road. You hear like a pounding on the ground, and you turn and you can see War is running, and he's almost out the gates. Do you do anything or say anything?
Let's keep going. They'll catch up.
All right, you walking or running?
Brisk walk.
Okay, we'll call it a dash action.
And with Steven, I have Steven as friend. We are walking together as friends.
Yep, Steven gets dragged along with you, and his turn is right after yours. So that makes sense. Alomiak, what you doing? I go get. 1 minute, I go get.
Takes manacles, runs after.
Oh no, he getting away, I go fetch. Alright, go ahead and roll deception.
What?
Oh, okay, roll persuasion.
Oh wait, I have to roll?
Nope, Alomiak rolls.
Okay. I was wondering why it was silence.
Okay, well, you did try to convince him to go with her and go in his cell, so she's going to trust you in this, and she gives you the manacles and lets you run after him. Because she is a gnome, and unfortunately, her speed is not as much as War's is.
Fast
Yeah,
as
no,
frick,
I'm-
boy.
Alright, so you charge after War. With dash, you can catch up to him, but that will be your full round just to catch up to him, so you wouldn't be able to enact any actions upon him. Okay, Fenton. You saw Havu look back over her shoulder and say, "Oh, good, they're coming. Let's go," and kind of hurry along with Steven at a brisk, dashing pace.
Just keep walking. Just keep walking.
Alrighty, you
Who do you
also...
think you are, Dory?
Yes.
We are so gonna get sued for that.
You dash it. Okay. And then,
Are we dashing through the snow?
In
Do
a
I-
one-horse open sleigh, over the hills we go.
committing crime all the way!
I mean, is it the job of a Dungeons and Dragons player to commit crime realistically here?
Be gay, do crime.
I do not look behind me though, so I'll like focus on Havu and be like, Havu. Well, okay, well I'll catch up. Like a little bit confused, like trying to feign confused. Well, no, actually he would be confused because he didn't hear this conversation. So like, okay.
So she makes it to about Pelik's curiosities as she's trying to catch up with you in War. Stop him! She yells at the other guards, who now draw their swords and start to go after you, War. But it is your turn up next, so you can make another dash if you want to. You can leave those guards behind, because if they don't dash and you do dash, well, they're no dashers of yours. And you gotta catch up with those friends of yours. Yeah, and also you see a Lomiak chasing after you holding manacles.
What the hell?
So do you dash?
I'm just gonna keep dashing.
Alright, you book it another 60 feet, you're out of the you're out of the walls, and you are about 85 feet behind Havu and crew. But you're out of the town now, and you're charging after.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go. I'm very sorry for the horrible joke.
Alrighty. So, Havu, you're up, I assume. Swift walking motion.
Swift walking with friends.
Swift walking with friends. Lomiak.
What's Steven doing?
Walking with friend.
Steven is being dragged along by Havu. He is not resisting, though. He wants to get the fuck out of here. Steven also doesn't really want to talk to guards, believe it or not. Can't imagine why. He's such a pleasant person.
I'm trying to have as much of plausible deniability as possible.
He fast for fat guy! Lomiak yells back at the guards, keeping one pace behind War while chasing him as far away from them as possible. Okie dokie. So, Lomiak and War, go ahead and roll a perception check. War, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay.
Alrighty, so War, you don't hear it, but Lomiak, you can hear behind you the lieutenant shouting orders to some of the guards. She is telling two to go get horses so that they can chase War down, and she's instructing the others to remain at the scene of the crime to preserve the bodies and collect evidence. So you know that there is soon going to be horses on your tail within the next couple of minutes. What do you guys do?
You know what? If there are gonna be
Not
horses
you.
on,
You don't know that. You rolled a 12. Lomiak knows that. Also, you are now out of turn order since you have escaped out the town walls. Panic. I see. I see. Alrighty, so you run and grab War and try to steer him into the nearest copse of trees. War, do you allow him to do so?
hell no.
What? Why?
No one's steering me in the trees.
But he's trying to save you.
He's
Trying
trying
to
to
save
hide
me.
you. He's trying to
See?
hide you.
Okay, you know what? I'll let him then.
Okay, good.
He did yell out, "Horses are faster," and then caught up to you.
He did, yes.
Well, you can't catch me because I'm the freaking ninja bread man.
I I will believe you will find that horses will indeed catch you.
I believe I will find, then I'll cut their heads off. Actually, then I'd be charged even more.
Oh my god. I've raised a murder hobo, guys. Who would have thought? Who would have ever imagined?
I mean, didn't you mention that in the first Among Us stream I was ever in?
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Like, when I said, well, oh man, I thought it was, I usually have it on, like, lower kill cooldown, and you said that's because you're a murder hobo.
Yep. So you,
Watch the stream if you want to find out how it all started.
Yes. So Olomiak...
Shameless plug.
Yes. So Olomiak is going to steer you over here into the trees, and y'all can roll stealth checks.
Okay? I mean, I'm a big, fat, bulky turtle, so I don't know if I can be very stealthy.
It's no time like the present to find out, huh?
Throw a gray
I mean, I've
blanket
got a
over you
really
and
high
look like a
stealth
boulder.
check, so actually maybe. It's +4.
Oh my lord!
You can't see me, boy!
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm freaking invisible! John see nothing.
More so, you can't see me.
Now you see me, now you freaking don't, you little...
Yeah, so
Oh,
Olomiak
nice.
and War kind of melt into the brush there. And after a minute or two, you hear the pounding of horses, and they go past your position. Havu, by this time, you, Finton, and Steven are pretty far up the road, because you've just been fucking brisk walking pace, plausible deniabilitying it, and you too hear the pounding of hooves behind you. What do you do?
Not be in the way of the horses?
Yes, I look behind myself and get out of the path of the horse because I am a tiny gnome or halfling. I don't. Let me see which one. I don't remember which. Tiny halfling.
All right.
I get out of the way,
So,
or I die.
So you get off to the side of the road. Steven gets dragged along with you, looking panicked. And here come the horses. There's 2 guards currently upon them, and they are kind of bearing down in your general direction. And finally, they draw to a halt directly in front of you, and one of the guards, a grizzled-looking human male, leans down and says, "Finton, have you seen that there turtle come round here?"
No, I haven't. Do I know this guard's name?
Yeah, this guy's name is Derek. Derek Longshield.
No, I haven't, Derek. I thought he was talking to the lieutenant over there.
He was, but apparently he's the one who done killed so many people at Pelix and made a break for it. You seen him?
No. Like I said, I just saw him last with the lieutenant. I did not know he. Well, damn, that's horrifying there.
Damn. He must have
Havu kind of giggles and is like, "You lost a turtle?"
His face, which is already kind of ruddy from the cold, reddens slightly as he goes, "Well, they're good at camouflaging. They got that green shell, there's green evergreen trees, stuff, things." Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't think they passed us, so it must be back closer to the town because I did not see anybody pass us.
Well, I'll all right. And he kind of whips his horse around and signals to the other guard, who looks like a freckled-faced, slightly pimply teenage boy. His armor's very ill-fitting. He's obviously a new recruit, or perhaps it's bring your child to work day if there is any credence in the familial resemblance between him and Derek. And they start going back down the road, kind of looking in all directions, passing by Alomiak and War's place of hiding. They spot a deer track, and the boy gets down off of the horse and kind of goes over and inspects it. And he's like, they might be turtle tracks. Well, get on down there then, boy! And he mounts up on his horse, and him and Derek go charging down this deer track.
Oh my
That
god,
seems-
how?
Wow, they are really freaking dumb. Freaking idiots.
Honey, get your mouth away from the microphone. You're murdering everyone.
I'm just trying to sound like I'm whispering.
You succeeded, and also succeeded in murdering.
I mean, in both in game and in real life,
Yes, actually.
I have become what I have created.
Alright, maintaining your same stealth rolls and the fact that they went along a deer track on the opposite side of the road, you managed to loop back in with your party.
Okay, guys. I just escaped. I've just escaped from the coppers, okay?
Great. So if they find you, then we're going to be accomplices. We better find the cure then. And drag Stephen. Come along, Stephen.
Oh!
Do we have guards
snake
and
So
lady.
I'm now officially a wanted criminal.
Okie dokie. So that is a situation there, that is. So you guys continue on down the pathway, I assume, keeping an ear out for hoofbeats in case anybody comes back this direction. Fortunately, Derek and Son are off in the bush somewhere chasing some poor hapless deer. That's a problem for later us, yes. So you guys make your way down the road with Steven semi-guiding you, semi-being prodded by Havu every once in a while to give directions. And eventually, that coupled with Finton's knowledge of Croaker Cave, because he gets frog legs there sometimes, you manage to find the location of the cave. And as you're standing outside of it, you can hear a low, hollow.
did he ever respond to me in Thieves Camp?
Oh, yeah, that's
when
right.
we were further away from guards.
What did you say to him again?
Well, first off, I was so I originally said if so Steven, where did you hear of this job with I can't remember the sister's name.
Hulil and Tolgi.
I'm sorry, Togi and who?
Hulil.
Pulo. So where did you hear about this job with Pulo? And how much was it paying you?
I get 5 gold a week and bonuses for when we do something really special. But
Progress, so we can communicate. Yes. Wasn't sure if you could have understood me. Oh, but I'm glad we speak the language of money.
I definitely do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this situation.
Yes. Very unfortunate for your friends there. We probably could have been allies. Considering we were sent there by Tolgi. So let's not. I probably shouldn't have told you that. But you're terrified enough of our snake friend here, so I'll trust in that fair.
The guy in the weird coat's a snake too?
The one with us right now.
I'm wearing a coat, remember?
Oh, yeah.
It's fashionable.
Fashionable.
But anyways, what can you tell us about this cave we're heading to?
And this is all in Thieves' Cant, by the way.
Yes.
So, basically only Finton and Steven understand it. It's all a bunch of nonsense words and weird motions to everybody else unless you understand Thieves' Cant, which I don't think any of you do, actually.
No, but Havu's intently listening
Intently
and not
listening.
understanding anything.
Not a word of it. It sounds like jibber jabbering, and you're wondering if they know another language that you don't.
Can I insight Havu to see if they understand?
You sure can.
Insight. Oh, a big ol' +1. Okay, 18.
She looks like she's listening intently with the goal of trying to understand, but you don't think she does.
Okay. Well, maybe I can teach you later. Saying in Thieves Can't, realizing that they probably didn't understand that, and then
I already know. How?
refocuses back on.
I
Focus veered off to Havu and then refocused onto Steven.
right. Steven thought you were talking to him when you said that. I already.
Never
know
mind.
how. Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
So yes, what can you tell us about this cave?
There's frogs in it.
Traps
Mm,
that we should be aware of. Also, we're friends.
uh,
We don't want an incident like yesterday to happen. That was not good even for me.
so not traps, but there are a lot of frogs.
Like normal frogs or monstrous frogs? I
There-
should probably know that.
So yeah, you do know that there are small frogs, like tiny ones that you could catch just fine. There's medium frogs, which is what you usually go for when you're trying to make a dish with frog's legs in it, because they're a lot nicer, a lot meatier. There's some
They're like
large
toad
frogs.
size, like almost a full hand size, right?
Yeah, there's some large frogs that are the size of like a chicken or something. And then there's some giant frogs that are about the size of like a Saint Bernard.
Have I ran into those before?
One time. You did not stick
Yep.
around to find out if they were hungry for you. It didn't
Nope, I
attack.
did not.
It did not attack you, but then again, you might have been too far away from it.
Yeah, I've seen what those tongues can do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At least none of those, like, how many of those very, very big ones, like those, ones taller than me, because those are
Uh, there's
horrifying.
there's a lot
Is a
of
word?
those.
And you are you set up base camp with those monsters?
Hulu knows how to talk to them, so they don't bother us if she's with us.
Are we gonna be able to see Hulu without being assaulted?
I don't know. It depends on what my coworkers said to her, I guess. The ones that got away.
Well, technically, you got away with your life, right?
I did. I'm not sure how she feels about the two bodies that were back there. He jerks his finger over his shoulder.
Yeah, again, not the plan, and definitely not what I would have preferred
I
for
mean,
an outcome.
I think the only question is, can you get close enough to convince her of that before she kills you?
Well, you can speak for us, right?
I
Or at
can
least
try, but
us, like
I'm an
pointing at me and Abu.
I'm an employee who is currently your captive. Not exactly sure how convincing that's gonna be of your good intentions.
I don't see ropes. Do we have ropes on him?
No.
He is
I don't see no bindings on you.
he is just pretty much not going to try anything just because of how fucking close he came to death already.
Also, during this whole conversation, can Havu try to learn some words? Like try to pick out a word or phrase or something?
This is going to be an intelligence check with disadvantage because you haven't had any experience with Thieves' Camp before, and Finton isn't actively teaching you, you're just trying to
Nope.
do it by word of
Okay.
mouth. Yeah, now if Finton was actively sitting you down and teaching you things, then it would be a little bit different.
She's really trying, though, guys. She's trying.
I wonder how much I might have even confused you when I looked at you and spoke to you,
A
and
lot.
Thieves Can't,
With
not
a
thinking,
3,
and then
a lot.
refocused on Steven.
Alrighty. So this conversation happens, and then you reach the caves, and you hear a loud echoing from within. And that's where we're gonna stop for the evening, because it's 10 o'clock, and Jason needs to go to bed for school tomorrow.
Alright.
You made it to the caves, guys!
Barely.
And let me guess, this is where the cliffhanger happens?
Oh, it's not really a cliffhanger, we're just pausing before you get into anything too, dangerous.
It's a cliff opener.
Cliff opener. So,
I'm not sorry for that one.
I'm afraid. But anywho,
From not being hung off a cliff?
yes, not being hung off a cliff. So, thank you everybody out there who may have been watching tonight. We really appreciate the views. Thanks for tuning in to our continuation of the one shot that we do whenever Dungeons and Dinosaurs is unavailable for the night. I have not heard back from DM Calith if she's going to be available next week. I know there's some really crazy things going on at her work at the moment, so it might be a little bit before we get a Dungeons and Dinosaurs episode again. But if so, we'll continue with these until we run out of content for Frozen 6, since it's only a levels 1 through 3 little one-shot free adventure that they give us on D&D Beyond. So, from those of us here at Dragons, also maybe Dungeons / Dungeons and Dinosaurs, thank you for watching. Good night. Beware of the frogs, and apparently of the turtles who will murder you in your sleep. Good night.
I will come for you if you don't give us money.
We're not asking for money. Ha 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 ha. Oh, and
I will
hi,
always
Wiz.
ask for money.
Hi, Wibs. Thanks for the chat and the wave. Good night.
Good night.
Nighty night. Make sure the turtles don't chop your head off with an axe.
I think that War may be a snapping turtle. They've raised an axe murderer. Go me. Bye!